Hi, my name is Grant Kaminer and I'm a student in PAD3893 Public Safety Systems. This is a debate on national guidelines. I am taking the pro stance for pro-national guidelines that in police discretion should be limited. So national guidelines are, instead of each state directing policing and having a code that explains what police can and cannot do in specific situations, national guidelines is just one set of codes for all 50 states and territories. Excessive use of force erodes public confidence in the police, and this excessive use of force comes from the jargon and the heavily worded statements in each state's guidelines codes for policing. It's a very difficult topic to navigate because there is so much language and so much misdirection in these penal codes. So why would we even want national guidelines then? National guidelines allow police to be easier trained, and they establish training methods as well as they remove any question about excessive force. In the past couple of years, excessive force has become a lot more prominent because of the George Floyd and other issues, in policing as far as excessive force go. National guidelines would help eliminate that because police would know what they can and cannot do in situations, and each situation would be heavily laid out. Also, police would be easier to train. A police officer who formerly had a job in Florida and is moving to Alabama or Texas would have to learn an entire new code if national guidelines were not in place. However, with national guidelines, he no longer has to learn an entire separate code, making it cheaper and easier for him to train, and he can be inserted into the force quicker. National guidelines are also really easy to understand because it's one set of codes as opposed to 50. For example, in the state of Oregon and Texas, both say similar things, but the language that they use is increasingly different, which creates some skepticism about what can or cannot be used. For example, in Oregon, non-deadly physical force can be used in areas of specific cases such as arson or kidnapping. However, in Texas, the language states that no extra force other than what is necessary can be used, and that this force is justified. Now, the use of justified here is really important because a police officer can say he was justified in acting that way. And it also allows for police officers to go above what they are supposed to do and can act in ways that they are not supposed to. This is why national guidelines is so important, because it sets one set of codes and laws for police officers to follow. To summarize, national guidelines are increasingly important because of the skepticism and because of the jargon that is these state penal codes.